Hello and welcome to this video where I'll be drawing another page in the reversed coloring book. This is the third video that I've ever made drawing in this book. Here's the first page that I ever made, which was a bunch of animals on little plants. And then I've also made another page, which is this one right here, which is also a bunch of animals. It's been a whole 3 months since I made a page in the reversed coloring book, so I decided to whip out my other reversed coloring book and finally make another page. So I've also made another page in here that I did off camera, and that was the very first drawing that I ever did in these books. So I felt like it was time to get back to this one. I also found this page that kind of intrigued me. It looks almost gory, although I will not be drawing anything gory in this, I swear. I am going to be using the same little fine liners that I used last time, which are these brown Faber-Castell colors, and I'm using the medium size. Just like with the other pages that I made, I'm trying to kind of just go with the flow, and I don't really have any ideas before getting into it. Although I did want to challenge myself to make a little bit less animals and maybe focus on making a little bit more humans or something like that. But I still want to keep this cartoony, cutesy style that I've been drawing in for the last 2 pages. The first kind of form, or the first thing I could see out of the first blob I decided to draw on, was this little lady that has her legs kind of crossed. And I also forgot to record a part of this, like this scary looking bunny rabbit. And it's actually really sad because I also drew 2 really cute little ladies on the bottom of the page, which we'll see very soon. So I'm a little bit upset about that, but that's fine. I'm just gonna keep on drawing. This one right here is also kind of a spooky lady. And there's gonna be a lot of the figures are gonna be really long and gangly because of how the page looks. The page just looks like a bunch of guts to me, but I didn't want to make a bunch of guts. So here it is. This tail as well. I made this tail for that bunny that I just made, and it also looks like guts, but it's supposed to be like a very long rat tail. It looks kind of gross, but here it is. The bunny got some little toes, and I know I'm trying to challenge myself to make more humans, but I can't help adding a few animals in there because they are so easy to draw, and it's a lot easier to draw animals out of weird forms than humans, because humans are just not that versatile. So for the next one that I draw right here, I make it into a little human, but it was looking really creepy. Everything just looks so creepy and weird. So yeah, I gave her bunny ears in the end, so she's kind of like a Bernie human hybrid, which is terrifying. And I made her sad because I realized I made most of the figures kind of cutesy. I wanted her to be a little bit sad with a weird nose. Yeah, she's terrifying. I do not like this this character. Let's move on to the next one. This one I quite like. So I could kind of see this figure with very weird hair, and that kind of looked like a little worm, so I decided to make him into this caterpillar man with a very nice hairdo. So here I'm drawing his nice little hair, and I made him a little bit, looking a little bit to the side. I gave him a very human nose, and he's frowning a little bit because he's a worm, and nobody wants to be a worm. So yeah, that one I kind of like. Gave him a little bit of shading, and then I colored his hair a bit before I moved on to the next figure, which also to me looks kind of like a larva or a worm, but with little wings. So this is like the next stage of the larva human process. It is a butterfly larva worm. I don't really know, but it worked out, I think. Here's also a very weird hand for this little figure, and a kind of upset expression on her because she got weird wings that are so tiny she probably can't even fly. So she's looking back at her little wings with her hand in the air, being like, what is going on? Then I gave her some bangs, a little bit of hair, and a belly button, and then I just went on to the next one. This one, I could not see anything but a horse, so even though I'm trying to make humans, this is gonna be a horse. A little unicorn, if you will, or maybe that's just a weird ear. I think the idea was a unicorn. And I saw another horse, so I added that one in there as well. I try not to restrict myself to many rules when making these drawings, but I do try to always follow the forms that I see. So I try to not make up forms or, for example, give this horse a unicorn horn because there is nothing there to indicate that he would have a unicorn horn. So that's like the only rule that I have, that I try to follow the shapes, and then when I have drawn around the shapes, I am allowed to do what I want with the inside of the shape. So yeah, I try to follow that as best as I can. Sometimes I'm not all that accurate with it, but I try to at least do that. Even though it may look like this, I don't know what this form is right here. This, I added some eyes to it. I don't know. This one also to me looked like a little face. Made that happy face because we have a sad face all around, and now it's time to make someone happy. And yeah, and here as well I see that I didn't follow the form 100% because I remember that I added a little ear right here. Yeah, that does not follow the form. Here I'm ruining my own rule as I make them. Anyway, here is also another very weird form that I didn't know what to do with, so I do what I do best, which is just to add a face into it and a little nose, and then I just call it a day. This is a dog cat thing now. This next figure I find very unsettling because the only thing I could see was this human woman that looks so freaky in every single way. Like the legs are freaky, what is happening with the ass, I don't know. This I could only see as an arm, so this arm looks incredibly freaky. I don't know what happened to her, but she's surprised about it, so I gave her a surprised expression. And she's kind of looking to the side. Maybe she's surprised about the state of her, or maybe she's surprised about something else. Maybe she's looking at the terrifying bunny man. Who knows? This as well, I just saw a bunny, so I did another one of those. But this one is oddly not that creepy. It's actually kind of cute. So this one I like. This one's nice. The page is looking a little bit empty, so I go over the lighter forms as well and add some random faces and random forms that I see, trying to keep up with like the human theme of it. So some more humans to kind of balance out all the bunnies and the horses. So here are two weird faces. Next little thing is in the corner over here, and I also saw a very specific thing in here. So what I saw is this person with their legs crossed, and you can see the head is a little bit weirdly formed, right? So I thought that maybe it would be like a gnome that is like praying or something like that. So very thick, weird legs, tiny little hands, and then here's the little gnome hat. And yeah, I try to make the face a little bit rounder before I go in with the eyes and the little mouth. I thought wrinkles would also look kind of good. And yeah, it's a little gnome grandpa or grandma praying. Here's a quick look at the page so far. It's looking quite freaky, if I do say so myself. Here I add a little worm thingy because that's the only thing I could see. And it is connected to this weird worm person thingy. This is kind of turning into a worm person page instead of a human page, which I didn't realize until now, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm gonna be continuing with some odd faces here and there, like this one. This one is looking happily at the very cute little lady that I made. And then this creature kind of reminds me of like a Land Before Time character. I don't even know why. She has like tiny arms, or he. I don't judge. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this one. Anyway, next one. This one I felt like kind of looked like it was leaking when I had done the whole form of it. So I decided to continue with the kind of leaking or melting imagery. So I added this kind of melting guy. And then after that, I decide to continue with the worm theme. So here is a worm human, kind of worm human. This one is more of a worm than a human. Same with this one. This is also just kind of a worm. But one of them has more human nose, so that's why I see it as a human worm. And also because worms don't have eyes. Anyway, here is a guy. This one I like. This one is a little bit more high concept, if you will. He also gets a gnome hat and this very nice nose. And he is also like kind of a worm, but not really. Maybe a spirit, maybe a genie. And he is holding onto something. Can you guess what it is? The answer is a worm. It's a worm. Here is another worm. At this point, I probably should have just went with guts or something, because this is getting really uncreative. But that's fine. This worm gets a nose to be more of a human worm, of course. And then we're gonna move on to another little human face over here. This one is kind of cute, a little bit grumpy. And here, the only thing I could see was the legs. So we're just drawing the legs and nothing else. Here I'm also pretty much almost finished with this drawing. Now it's pretty much just like small little filler characters. I have this little space over here that I haven't filled in yet. So I do, and at this point as well, I'm getting a little bit tired, a little bit antsy. I don't really want to do much more. So I feel like the quality as well has gotten a bit down. Here's another kind of unicorn horse looking thing. But this one is a little bit creepy. I think it's because of the lines around the eyes and such. And also just the very, very weirdly formed body. It's like slightly terrifying, honestly. And then over here, I could have done more of the horse, but I also saw this little creature, which is a little gnome person, of course, and it is looking lovingly again at the little lady, because she's my favorite character in here. She's so cute, as well as the cute little ladies that are also a little bit to the side that I forgot to record, which is really sad. This one gets pants. He's like the only one that's not naked in here, and I love that for him. So yeah, here I'm also just filling in some more small forms. Here is a little creature or person, and here's the last tiny little bit. So that is the whole page. I actually really enjoyed the process of this, even though it was all over the place and a lot more messy than the other pages, I would say. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye.